Hey, good evening. Wixman Ray here. It's May 13th, 2026, which is Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. So, got a couple systems here, but overall, not too bad of weather overall for most areas. So we got this system out west, low pressure spinning up near the northern Idaho Canadian border area with some showers and some thunderstorms. It looks like across um, parts of Montana and down into Wyoming. Looks like there's a little bit of convective activity, or what I mean by that, by thunderstorm activity across parts of Utah, Colorado, and maybe down into New Mexico and Arizona a little bit. So yeah, we got this. We got two systems. We got this northern system, and then a weaker southern system here. Um, and there's actually a cold front that's going through Nevada and up through the northern Rockies here. You can kind of see that right there. So, and then we got this low pressure area that's moved. The center of the low has moved up into Canada. I think it's in Ontario or Quebec, one of those provinces, with the cold front stretching from New York down through Pennsylvania and down and through Maryland and Virginia, with some showers and thunderstorms through that area, and then some rain on the northern side of the north of the kind of northeast of the cold front there across Maine and those states back there. This system's moved offshore. The only thing I can say about that is it's causing a few clouds, maybe some showers, and I don't think there was any thunder across South Florida. We'll take a look at the radar to confirm if there's any showers, but this system's pretty much gone for all intents and purposes for the U.S. anyways. All right, so this is our infrared, by the way, measures cloud top temperatures. So these reds, darker colors up here are the colder cloud tops, same thing over here. And like these grays and whites are warmer. And then even the land, you can see the land where it's clear, that's where it's even warmer, especially out here in like Central California and Nevada and the deserts out here. So yeah. So looking at our satellite, or not satellite, our surface observations. Um, Looks like we got some windy conditions here with this front that's moving through the west. I'm seeing some gusts up around 30 to 40 all across the west. Looks like there's some high wind warnings up here in parts of Montana, even into northern Idaho, and then it looks like back into Wyoming, not Wyoming, but Washington and Oregon, a couple areas, and also out there across um, the Salt Flat area of Utah, western Utah, so, and even a sliver of Nevada there. So, some pretty strong winds out there in places, gusting up near 60, it looks like there in Billings and where they have that high wind warning. But yeah, all across the west, pretty breezy to windy. So yeah, and then we got some showers. Like I said, um, showers and thunderstorms across New Mexico and Colorado and parts of Utah, and then up into Wyoming. Those are creeping towards western Nebraska. Looks like the bulk of it though is up into Montana and northern Idaho. Um, with the stronger dynamics, and then you got a little bit of rain and stuff up here in Washington State here. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. A little bit cooler too. Much of the valleys are in the 50s and 60s back here. Out ahead of the front, it's in the 80s here back in eastern Montana, and even out in eastern Colorado, we see some 80s and whatnot. But or no, that's Wyoming, not Colorado. Sorry, got my wrong state. Back into Nevada in the 70s, 90 in Vegas, 85 Salt Lake, so they're ahead of the front. The front's going through like the Elko and back into this area. Still pretty warm through the Central Valley of California, some 70s and 80s. Like I said, so yesterday it was, I think it was 102, 103. It's 96, so they've dropped, a few degrees, 5 or 6 degrees out in Phoenix since yesterday. So that's the trend, just a slightly cooler over the next couple of days. Then as we head east, pretty dry, 70s and 80s all across Texas and parts of the South into the central and southern plains, some 60s farther north here and there. Oh, by the way, it's 9:20 in the evening Central Time, so it's cooling off out here. So that's why you're seeing those 60s, but very dry. Um, the only humidity really to speak of, it would be down in Florida. There's maybe a little bit down here along the Gulf Coast, but the Gulf's kind of shut off for business when it comes to deep moisture. So yeah, and then yeah, pretty nice across the southeast in the 70s this evening. It's almost 10:30 out there. And then here's that front you're seeing. So we're seeing thunderstorms from parts of New York all the way down into approaching the Philadelphia area, across eastern Pennsylvania, down through Maryland, and through the DC area and down through Virginia. We got some showers and thunderstorms. South of there might be a couple showers in North Carolina, but really not much. It's as you get farther south, there's just not enough dynamics and whatnot along that front to create anything. Man, what is going on? Why does it keep doing that? That's something new. And that's really about it at the surface. The coldest air still is across the Northeast, some 40s and 50s back here, and even into parts of the Great Lakes. So this is that area that's cooler, is back through the Great Lakes, and even extends into Minnesota a little bit. Elsewhere, it's a warming trend. So yeah. So that's about it, really, guys. So we'll look at our upper level pattern real quick here and show this to you. So this is that system, the low pressure out in the east with this dip in the I'll call it the jet stream kind of runs across, say, from the Pacific Northwest to the Northern Rockies, and then kind of scoots up into Canada and then dips right back down through the Midwest and out through the Mid-Atlantic and off the East Coast. So we got that area of lower pressure across the east here, keeping it cool and unsettled with that rain and thunderstorms. Got the ridge across the center part of the country, and that's why it's so warm out here. And then we got this system that we saw that's caught, that's supporting that cold front moving through the Rockies and the Great Basin. And then you got a little bit of energy with this southern system across parts of the west here. So yeah, so that's what we got going on there. Yeah. And that's what's causing those showers and thunderstorms, just this energy and this southwesterly flow coming up behind that ridge and ahead of the trough there. So as we move through tomorrow, so that this low will be slow to depart. So by tomorrow, even during the afternoon, it will push the front offshore, but the low pressure will still be lingering across the northeast. So a good part of this area will still be unsettled with clouds and some showers across the northeast mainly. And then this system presses east, so we'll see the front start moving out into the northern plains, and we'll start seeing some showers and thunderstorms, especially up north here through the Dakotas and probably into Nebraska, some showers and thunderstorms. And then you'll kind of have some lingering rain probably back behind this in Montana. Then we got another little wave coming in the Pacific Northwest, so a little bit of clouds and precipitation will be coming in there, and that's for tomorrow afternoon. Then you see this energy out through from Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, even down into Texas a little bit. So a little bit of a weak forcing, as we call it, weak energy. So this might spark off a couple isolated showers and thunderstorms through there. It's going to be real sparse and isolated. Nothing real organized due to the lack of moisture coming off the Gulf still on Thursday. So, but enough energy to spark a few, and then we still see this energy across the Southwest. So you still might see a few showers and storms across Colorado and New Mexico, maybe even back into Arizona here for tomorrow, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Um, yeah, so that's about it for Thursday. As we go through Friday, that low slowly tracks offshore, so it looks like probably by Friday evening, the rain will probably finally get out of the Northeast, and we'll start seeing some improving weather on the weekend across the Northeast. So that one goes bye-bye by late Friday evening, Friday night. This system, kind of look back, it's kind of moving to the north and east. So by Friday evening, it's moved up into Canada. We still got some energy along and then you see this other wave that was out here. So we'll see some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms up here across North Dakota, Minnesota, UP, and Michigan, back into the Rockies, the northern Rockies. But south of there, not a lot of energy. We have these weak impulses from the southern storm. So on Friday, we might see some isolated showers and storms out through the central part of the country, through the central and southern plains here, and even back into the Four Corners states here. That would be Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, and even back into Nevada. As another little piece of energy comes into California, so some showers possible out there. Another little wave will hit at least the northern part of Washington, so it may give some more rain for northern, like up around Seattle. So, um, but we're starting to see a kind of a east-west zonal type pattern temporarily set up, but I think that's going to change as we get into next week. But so that's for Friday evening. As we go into Saturday, so this system quickly moves across Canada, but we see a little bit of energy skirting the northern part of the country. So maybe some rain up here in Minnesota and the UP of Michigan. And then you see this dip out here. So this system's starting to strengthen. Whoops. And push this low pressure south. So we'll see some more rain and storms, another front come across the west, and that'll get it even cooler on the weekend across this area, the northern Rockies into the Great Basin. And then you see these southern stuff. So we'll see showers and thunderstorms all through the west, kind of isolated to scattered and more numerous up north here in the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest. And then on Saturday, you see these pulses of energy coming across the central and northern plains. So up in this area, we'll probably see some showers and thunderstorms develop, maybe an organized complex in a couple areas, even some energy back here as we go towards like the Ohio and Tennessee Valley and mid to lower Mississippi Valley. Might see some showers and thunderstorms down there because the Gulf's going to start opening up on Saturday and bringing some deeper moisture in. And this flow is becoming a little more southwesterly, which is a little more favorable for thunderstorms to start breaking out in this part of the country. It looks like with this kind of pattern, it's going to warm up across the Great Lakes in the Northeast. So you'll see a warming trend for Saturday and Sunday. A little piece of energy going through the mid-Atlantic, so you might see some showers and storms out there also. So yeah, so a little unsettled. So like I said, that kind of east-west flow starts to go away because you see this dip and the jet stream out here, so it only lasted maybe for a day or two. And then as we go through Sunday, so this is by Sunday, you see this really starts deepening across the northern Rockies. So we're going to have a pretty good front. That'll start moving into the northern plains and out through Colorado and parts of Wyoming. So we'll see some rain up in here, showers and thunderstorms probably across northern and central plains. With this all this energy back here. This could be our best day for severe weather is on Sunday. I mean, Saturday, there's a chance if we go back and look, maybe with some of this activity out here, especially like from Nebraska, northern Kansas, Missouri, and northern Missouri through Iowa and back through, at least through Illinois. Maybe that could be an area to watch Saturday for severe thunderstorms. Maybe down here, we'll see if there's enough energy. It's kind of weak, but if there's enough moisture, it could, be an issue for some severe weather. But this looks like the best dynamics. So we could see a pretty good threat of severe thunderstorms across the northern. So I would say from Minnesota, at least South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, maybe even Oklahoma, maybe down to Texas. We'll see. Because there's a lot more energy, and that could extend back into Kansas and Iowa. I don't know if it'll quite make it to Missouri on Saturday. They might miss out on it there, but so that's as far as we'll go. Um, so yeah, so it looks like this weekend increasing threat, and I think right now at the current pattern, um, that's probably our best bet for severe weather. But that could change. We're still a few days out, so things could, shift a little bit. So we'll keep you posted on that. We'll quickly go through the surface here. I kind of explained things. So you see this stuff back here. We'll kind of go through time. So So you can see as we went all the way, so Thursday afternoon. So showers and thunderstorms back here along this front across the, you know, probably the eastern Dakotas. Gosh, why does that keep happening? And then more real isolated down into Kansas, maybe Oklahoma and West Texas on Thursday. You can see that. Maybe a little bit into northern Missouri tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. So, but a lot of that energy moves up into Canada, like I was telling you. And then there's that next round of rain for the west. And then here's that lingering rain for the northeast here. You can see the front kind of goes offshore tomorrow morning. And yeah, lingers up there across the northeast. So not much down in Florida. They might get a couple popcorn thunderstorms in the afternoon, but not much to speak of. And you can kind of see on Friday this slowly starts to weaken out. Looks like by Friday night the rain might be gone for the Northeast, so it'll be wet through Friday. So, and then we'll go back to Friday. So Friday, as this front pushes east, yeah, we might see some showers and thunderstorms out here on Friday. Up here in the north, Midwest, back through Illinois and back through this area. There might be a few real isolated cells out in Kansas, Oklahoma, maybe North Texas, maybe. And then there's real spotty stuff across the west there. So, yeah. And, yeah, and then you see that stuff still in the Pacific Northwest on Friday. So as we go into Saturday, so you see it gets a little more organized. So like I was telling you, this warm front looks like a warm front develops across from Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, back through, Illinois through Ohio and Michigan. So this whole area from Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, down through Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. Some showers and thunderstorms. Maybe some will be severe. Let's go through the night. Yeah, and that could clip northern Missouri late in the night. So something to watch. That's when the moisture starts picking up off the Gulf now. So it'll get more humid and more dew points will go up. Then we're seeing this rain back here across the Rockies with that as the jet stream dips, and you can kind of see there's the next cold front, so it's going to get windy out here too across the west, and more. You can see that how much cooler it is. They're showing more snow up in the northern Rockies for Saturday, so Saturday evening, anyways. Yeah. So that was that next one as it deepens across the west, or strengthens, deepens. That's the same term. So as we go into Sunday, so there'll probably be some lingering storms across Missouri and through the all the way through Ohio and out to through the east along this warm front. And then this will be the stuff coming out of the Rockies with that next frontal system. And as we go into Sunday, so you kind of, like I was telling you, like the northern plains, central plains, Kansas, Nebraska, up through all the way up into Minnesota, Iowa. This area could be under the gun for some severe weather. Maybe not real far north because the low pressure forms. So typically on the north side of the low, it's not quite as unstable. But even south, down in Oklahoma and Texas, there might be some real isolated stuff, or isolated to scattered. But it does have a lot of moisture to work with. But all the lift is going to be back with the front, which is up here. This will probably be some prefrontal stuff. And then you kind of see on Monday, that looks like a better threat for this farther south. So, but yeah, we won't talk about that too much now. Yeah, I forgot to mention too, Sunday along that warm front, there's still going to be some scattered showers and thunderstorms from Illinois, Michigan, eastward through the East Coast there. So at least scattered, isolated, maybe not a big line of them, but it looks like some stuff starts breaking out across the southeast too, down into Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. So that starts on Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, some energy out there too. So something to watch. But definitely for the west, you'll see you got the front going through today and tomorrow, but a much colder front for the weekend. I think Elko I saw had a highs in the 50s by Sunday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? I think it was Sunday. So yeah, you see this, it's really cold air, and you see all these packing of these isobars here. That's showing you it's going to be windy again. So, and that's getting into Saturday and Sunday. But so this was, if we go back in time, see see all this packing of the isobars. This is what's causing all those winds right now. So you're going to see a similar setup going into the weekend. So some pretty gusty winds, maybe some high wind warnings in places out west. So looks like it also gets a little windy out around this low pressure on Sunday too, as that comes out, even on Saturday across parts of the plains. So that's pretty typical as these systems come out of the Rockies. It gets windy across the plains. So, all right, that's all I've got for that. We'll just cover the convective outlook and then call it a night here. So this was for tonight. They had some pretty good showers and storms up there. I think it'll probably wind down for the night up there. Mostly wind. It looks like mostly a wind threat up there. Tornado and hail was very minimal. So that's for tonight. For tomorrow, come on, pop up. We saw it. It's going slow. So yeah, it looks like parts of the Central Plains down through West Texas and Western Oklahoma. So this stuff will probably be pretty isolated. Looks like they got a slight risk out there in Kansas. So something to keep an eye on tomorrow. They might be a little more scattered up north with that stronger energy up here. So something to watch. We had that energy coming out of the Rockies, but the moisture is limited. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Don't think it'll be a big outbreak. Then this is for Friday. So well, it looks like Kansas City's under the gun. But we've got, much of the Midwest and Central and Southern Plains, at least in a marginal risk. So something to watch for Friday. And we kind of saw that warm front developing back here. So yeah, we'll see what happens on Friday. But yeah, these are the days I'm worried about, mostly on the weekend, especially Saturday. So this is Saturday or Sunday. So there's Saturday. Yeah, like I said, from maybe mainly Kansas, northern Missouri, parts of Iowa and Nebraska, even down into northern Oklahoma. But there's the day I think that will have the best threat of severe weather, and that'll be from Iowa, Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin, down all the way through Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. So, oh, and then they got one for Monday. Look at that. from the Midwest, from, Wisconsin all the way down to North Texas. So watch out. And then after that, yeah. So, yeah, looks like the weekend into early next week, severe weather's going to be the story again for the central part of the country. So there's even a chance, over the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, although it'll probably be pretty insignificant, maybe just a couple isolated storms. All right, well, that's all I've got for you folks. I'm going to wind this up. It's getting late, so I appreciate you all, and I have some other little videos I made today too that I'll post out there. Some interesting stuff around this area in Kansas City. All right, Wixman Ray out.